Alright, so I've been playing Build a Boat here for about a few days, give or take, like 3 or 4 days, I want to say. And I've been having some people that are seeming to having some issues with trying to play the game, at least progressing in the game. So I wanted to kind of show at least a few of the tips that I've so far have gathered pretty much from playing, and just gonna show some of the beginner stuff, at least for now, and maybe continue on with this and show, even more of what you can kind of do in this game. But basically, the first thing I'd recommend is trying to always be, at least like when you very first start, is go on the magenta team. And even if you're not able to get on the magenta team, like whenever you first join or whatever, if someone's like already on magenta, you could search for another server and do that. But basically what you want to do is right here, you can click this limb and then it'll actually make this go up, and this is the first chest you can basically get without even making a boat. As far as I know, this is the only one you can get without actually making a boat right at the beginning. And I'm only going to get 5 gold from it, but you would actually get, I believe it's 25 balloons and I think 50 fabric blocks, I think is what you get, and then you also would get the chest as well as a building block. So that's definitely a nice thing at the start. Plus also being on the magenta team or the yellow team across here is actually the two best teams to be on when you first start, because you're so close to the rocks here that whenever you first go off, you'll just be right here, and you should, even if you crash right here and fall in the water, you should at least get 3 gold, I'm pretty sure. But if you can make it into that first room right there and die in there, I'm pretty sure you would get at least 7 gold, I believe. The next tip I would say though is to basically never buy this chest, because you can only get a maximum of 2 blocks, but a lot of times you'll just get 1. Plus, you can only get wooden items, and then there's the stone block and the stone pillar or post, which you can only get stone items actually out of that chest. So if you wanted to build potentially with stone, that would be a reason of opening this, but unless you're really wanting to building with stone or get the chest from this chest specifically. Like for instance, I have the one from the gold chest. So if you wanted one that was basically like this, I'm assuming it's just like this, but it's green, you could still open the 5 one, but other than that, there's really not much of a point. The next thing would be is looking at your building stuff. So whenever you're in build, there's up here at the top, you have your anchor block and then the merge level. Basically what these are is your anchor is based on what your blocks will do. So for instance, I have anchor on, so if I build up a little bit and I was to break these blocks, this will float. But if I, for instance, don't have that actually turned on, and I was to place one and break that, this falls. Now there is uses you can use with that, basically making like a boat or whatever. Mainly you would be doing this if you have like some of the like car parts or whatever, but you'd be able to like actually build something, and then you could actually break the block underneath, and then you could go without actually having to click go. Now, another thing is also you have the clear all, which is, if you have, let's say, you had like a bunch of blocks that you like accidentally placed, like you have one that's like placed way over there and like that or something, or whatever. Maybe you're playing on a tablet or something. You do have a clear all button, so having to like actually click on each individual block, and then it'll just get rid of all of them. Now, the next thing is that I seem that there's people that don't know that this is a thing, but if you go to any of these on the side here, doesn't matter any of them, whichever, you just want to click on the disc, and this will give you your saves. Normally you'll only have these first 3 right here, and they've been changing this actually recently, so now it looks a lot better. You can actually change the colors of these now and whatnot, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, once you want to have more than 3, you would actually have to buy them. Your first one is only 1,000 gold or 100 Robux. Eventually you get to a point where you have so many though that you actually have to pay Robux to get them. But I'm pretty sure you can get, I think it's 10. I could be wrong on that, but I think it's 10 saves before you have to start paying Robux. Not sure on that one. Okay, so the next thing would be is your quests. Your quests actually are pretty good for, especially starting out, for getting your first bit of money. I'm not really going to go too much into detail on really how to do the quests. there's plenty of ways of, figuring out how to do them. Eventually, maybe I can show how to do them, but basically the first one you would start with, I mean, I can very easily show this one, I suppose, but I'm not going to show any more than this. Basically, though, what you would want to do is, any of these quests, like I said, they're usually pretty simple. You just got to kind of, figure them out, but basically on this one, you just literally place a block underneath it, and that's it. That's literally all you have to do. It'll go in, you'll get your blocks and your gold, and that is it. Now, the next thing would be is your settings. The gear, when you click, again, any of the things on the side, you click the gear, and you can have your settings here. You can change the color of the top here and stuff, which is kind of cool. You can also have the background music on or off. The share mode is really only if you're, let's say, you end up having like a bunch of blocks and your friend really doesn't, but they still want to kind of like build something, or if you want to like have it where y'all build something together and be able to save it, this is the way of being able to do that. Also, with having some people being kind of annoying, you can turn off the isolation, which will make it to where people can't go into your building area that are on other teams. There is the block join request, which doesn't really seem to work, at least from what I have noticed. This doesn't work basically at all. And then you have the PvP mode, which is kind of nice. This is by default, this is turned off. But if you want to actually PvP, which does allow you to blow up blocks and stuff. So if you want to actually like make, like robots or whatever that's becoming a little bit more common now, you can do that and be able to actually blow up the blocks and stuff. Basically, though, yeah, I think that is actually it. I mean, like I said, I want to kind of show a little bit more of this game, kind of show, like some of the stuff you're able to actually get to and everything, all the like blocks you're able to get maybe. I don't really know what more I could really do with this. I mean, there's tons of stuff to this game, I feel, especially with the building aspects. I mean, there's a lot of building games on Roblox, but I honestly feel like this is one of the better ones just because like your builds are doing something. So there is that. This very much reminds me of playing Gary's mod, where you would literally get to build like a sled and slide down and race, or literally just building like a car and racing them. It's exactly what this feels like. So, and it's funny that the fact that this game is called Build a Boat, but with all the updates that have happened in this game, you're not really just building a boat anymore. I mean, at the start you are, but it is kind of the fun of this game, though, is just being able to get a bunch of gold, be able to get more blocks, build bigger and bigger things, and that's basically what I want to do at some point, is get to where I can actually build, huge things, and, eventually that's what I want to get to. So, that's going to do it for me in this one. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.